up? It's Breyonna. So today we're going to be using another one of the Makeup Revolution x DC Comics aka Batman palettes, and we're going to be using Harley Quinn's. I don't know what it is about this one, but it's just like really drawing me in, and I know a lot of you guys are really excited about this one too. Because, I mean, it's like a little pastel moment, but at the same time, it's kind of like a neon pop kind of pastel, and also it has a ton of sparkle in here. Like, there's a lot of shimmers going on. And again, we will be using other items from this collection today as well, and also, if you'd like to see my original review on this collection, I'll have that linked in the description box down below for you. And spoiler alert, I used the Joker palette, and that look turned out super cool. So I did just prime my eyes, but the first shade I want to go in with is this one in the center, the Matte Blue. And I'm just going to be taking it on this little dome blending brush from the Morphe Madison Beer collection. I'm just going to be popping this in the inner third of my crease, and ooh, that is pretty. I really hope that the mattes in here act like the Joker palette, because those ones were really, really nice. And again, I am just going to be building it upwards towards my brow. And you know what? I am going to do a second layer. Honestly, I feel like I wouldn't need 2 layers with this shade, but I just want to see what happens. Oh yeah. You definitely don't need 2 with this one. And also for a pastel, it's not like dusty or funky, but one thing I will note though is that it does look more pastel in the pan rather than when applied. Like, it doesn't oxidize. I think the packaging and like how it's laid out just makes it look a little bit lighter. So now I'm just going to go in the purple matte on this little brush from Morphe. This is an M456. And again, the mattes in here, they have like this skull Harley Quinn logo from the Suicide Squad movies like imprinted in them. But ooh, I will warn you, this shade does have a little bit of kickback to it. It's not bad, but enough you just want to be a little bit careful. And I'm just going to be popping this in the center third. Ooh, this one's a little bit more sheer right away. This one's definitely more like a pastel, but I'm going to go in with a little bit more. Let's see how the second layer looks. Yeah, this one's a little bit more on the buildable side. It's just this shade is more of like a pastel kind of formula, whereas the blue to me looked like a pastel in the pan, but when applied it was more like a bright blue, like a sky blue. I'm just going to go in with a third layer. Yeah, this one's definitely on the buildable side. And one thing I will note is that since this shade is so powdery, it kind of gets rid of the imprint design almost right away, which is kind of a bummer. But I am just kind of like overlapping it with the blue. Yeah, I mean, like, the shade's cute, but like, I don't know, it kind of dusts up a little bit more than I want it to. So I'm just going to take the brush that I applied my eye primer with no additional on it. I'm just going to run it right on the edge of the purple, just to help kind of like bring it down. Yeah, like, there's just something about this purple shade I don't like. Like, yeah, it is a little bit more on the buildable side, but you can see like it just gets like chunky and weird fairly fast. It's really hard to get rid of this little harsh line I have going on from it. Don't get me wrong, like, the purple shade, it isn't terrible. It's just, I wish it had a better formula, honestly. Like, I don't know, you can kind of see it just looks a little bit chunky and weird, and I don't know, I just wish it had more of like a smooth kind of look to it. But nonetheless, let's go in with the next shade, and I'm going to be dipping into the hot pink, and also this pink is the deepest shade in this palette. And I'm just going to be taking it on this pinch blending brush from Morphe. It's an M433. This shade does look really promising though. It looks super pigmented on the brush. Oh yeah. Ooh, that is pretty. I was going to go in with the other pink, but since this purple kind of has more of like a pinky purple kind of vibe to it, I just thought we would go in with this one instead. And since that purple doesn't have a lot of pigment to it, I'm hoping that this pink can kind of like finesse it. Okay, so far it's really cute. Let's do a second layer. Yeah, so this one's pigmented, but it is slightly on the buildable side. Which honestly I kind of prefer, because sometimes with these like really bright hot pinks, they can almost overpower everything because they're just so intense. So this one having a slightly like more buildable formula to it makes it a lot easier to use. Because like pink is one of those colors, it literally overpowers anything that you put near it. And I'm just going to go in with a little bit more of the blue on the brush that we applied it with. And then I'm just going to kind of like reapply it where the blue was. Like initially like pop that color down here. And then bring in whatever is left of my brush into where the pink and the blue meet. To make like a really pretty kind of like mid-tone purple. Oh yeah, this is way better looking. I don't know, like I had higher expectations for that purple. Like in the pan, it looks a lot darker than it does when applied. You can kind of see like, it just looks like a really light sheer pastel purple on the eye, but in the pan, it's like a poppin' kind of like, almost like a neon pastel purple. Now using that brush that we applied the purple with, I'm actually just gonna go in with a little bit of blue on it instead. And I'm going to apply it right between the blue and the pink. And this will help kind of make that purple color that we're looking for. You see what I mean? Like that color just looks so much better than this purple. So I just cut the crease and I did do like a little liner accent on the top, you know, just for something cute and different. But now we're gonna kind of get rid of this chunkiness of the cut crease. So I'm just gonna go in with that hot pink that we just used. And I'm just gonna be really like dipping this little shader brush into it. And I'm just gonna pack it on the outer edge and try to avoid messing up that little detail. So now let's work on the lid, and for shimmers I'm first going to go in with this purple one, and again in the pan it kind of feels almost like a pressed glitter, so I'm not too sure how it's going to apply, but I am just going to be taking it on this dry little shader brush first. Yeah, like it's really kind of like creamy in the pan. It's not as creamy as the blue in the Joker palette was, because that shade just, that was a mess. So I'm happy that it isn't like a cream shadow kind of consistency. I guess let's see what it looks like, and again I'm popping it right next to that pink. Okay, that is applying way different than I expected. Because like in the pan you can see it's kind of like a smoky purple, but when applied it's kind of like a whitish purple, and it's super light. Like dang, I was expecting it to actually almost be too dark next to the pink. But it actually looks really nice. I am going to take my finger though. See what happens? Oh yeah. This is kind of like a pressed glitter. And the more that I've dipped my finger into the pan, the more like a cream shadow it feels like. Which I'm not too sure how I feel about, because again, with the Joker palette, the dark blue like shimmer shade in that one was kind of like the consistency of like a cream shadow, and it was just, it creased and it was a nightmare. I'm just going to take whatever's left of my finger and pop it over here. Also, this shade is one of those ones, a little goes a long way with it. Like, you definitely want to use the less is more approach with this one. But you see what I mean? Like, it looks so much different in the pan than when applied. Like, it's like a smoky, kind of like mid-tone purple in the pan. But when applied, it's more of like a grayish, like icy purple kind of situation. Which I actually prefer. I'm just going to take a little bit more on that brush and really bring it up towards the top of that cut crease. You know, I'm really curious about the blue shimmer in here too, so let's go in with that one next. And this one's kind of like a creamier kind of consistency as well. And again, I'm just going to apply this with a different little flat shader brush, and I'm applying it dry, but ooh, both of these just have a lot of dimension to them. They kind of have like this wet, like iridescent kind of finish, but it's also almost like glittery in a way too. Man, that's pretty. I really like these two next to each other as well. But this blue, I don't know what it is about it, but it almost has like this glow to it. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the purple, but the blue, it just has like this like brighter blue, like iridescent to it that just really makes it pop. So let's go in with the Catwoman liquid liner, and I'm really curious to see how this is going to go over the kind of like glittery shimmers that we have going on, because sometimes liquid liners, they don't do the best over those, especially felt tips like this. But the first time that I used this liner, I did really enjoy it. Oh yeah, it goes over these like glitter. There's like literally no skipping, and what's really nice about this liner too is that it is 100% matte. There is absolutely no shine to it. Like, if you like felt tip liners, I think you would really enjoy this one. Super easy to do a wing with too because of the shape. Like with the liquid liner, I really enjoyed the Batman mascara out of this collection because it was just like very volumizing. Again, if you don't like clumpy lashes, you're not gonna like this one. But if you like that false lash effect, like really like dramatic type of mascara, this one's super pretty. And also, I'm one of those people, like my natural lashes are beyond stubby and sparse. Like they're not cute by themselves. I need as much help as I can get. And this mascara really just does wonders on them. It's also like really like matte black too. Like I don't know if you can see if I open up my eyes more. Because again, like I have really sparse lashes that are short. If I open my eyes kind of crazy, you can really see the mascara, but I'm just saying, like, if you like a really nice volumizing mascara that's kind of clumpy, you're gonna really like this one. So when I first reviewed this collection, I didn't use the Catwoman lashes, but let's use them this time, and these ones are called the volume lashes. And you can see they're just really fluttery, and they do have a lot of volume to them. So when I was cutting these, I actually cut them from the inner part. Normally you don't want to do that, but since these ones are really long on the outer edge, I didn't want to like get rid of that, so I just cut them from the inner part instead. So let's see what they look like on. So I would say this is kind of like a volume lash, but more like an everyday volume kind. It's not like super crazy dramatic. So I just applied my face makeup, but let's do the lower lash line. And honestly, I'm just going to mirror you what we did on the top to the bottom, but I'm just going to do it a little bit different. So the first shade I'm going to be going in with is that blue shade that we used. And I'm just going to be taking it on this teeny tiny little blending brush from Profusion. This is a small pointed eyeshadow ES6. I'm just going to be popping this in the inner half. Again, I'm just doing like these little back and forth motions when applying it. And now using this brush from Luxie, this is a 231 small tapered blending brush. I'm just going to go in with the hot pink, that really bright pink. And I'm just going to apply to the outer half. I'm just going to skip doing like the little purple kind of situation that we did because I wasn't really a big fan of it. And I'm just going to go in with a little bit more pink as well. So for the inner corner highlight, normally I would go in with the shimmery white, but honestly, I want to try out this shimmery kind of like minty color instead. There's just something so pretty about it. But I'm just going to be taking it on this Anastasia A14 little pencil brush. Let's pop it in that inner corner. Ooh, that is so blinding. Man, the shimmers in this palette are really, really nice. Like, I mean, just look at that. It kind of like plays up the blues more too. You know, with it being a mint, I wasn't sure if it was going to pull more green next to the blues or not. But I don't know, it just kind of like really like played up how like intense they are. So for highlighter today, I'm just going to go in with the Batman one out of this collection. I really liked it the first time that I used it, and I'm just going to be taking it on an eyeshadow brush. Now this is one of those ones you really have to layer if you want a blinding, but you can get it like super, super blinding. Like the first layer, it's just kind of like a pretty like subtle sheen, but the second layer, no. This is just such a like an icy wet highlighter. It's really hard to find nice highlighters this kind of color that also don't give like a gray cast on the cheek. So the last item that we are going to be trying out of the collection is the Harley Quinn lip gloss, which, oh, like this color is really pretty. I don't know if it's going to go with my lip liner or not, but we're just going to try it out anyways. But oh, this smells just, it smells like vanilla cake powder, and I really like vanilla cake. But, and also, if you'd like to see a swatch of this compared to the other shades, I did do swatches in my first video. But let's see how it looks. Oh, I don't know if I like that with this look. It's a very, very pigmented gloss. Honestly, for a lip gloss, it's not really like glossy looking. I don't know how to explain it. It almost looks like a satin. It looks kind of like a creme liquid lipstick that doesn't dry down. And also, like, formula-wise, it's very, very thin. It is almost, it's not like a gel, but it's kind of like this whipped, kind of like creaminess. Seriously, that almost looks like a liquid lipstick with the pigmentation. Already got it on my teeth. Yeah, like that is really thin. I'm just saying, this is one of my favorite looks I have done in a hot minute, but let's talk about everything and let's go over the eyeshadow palette first. And this palette though, let me just tell you, I am so impressed with it. The only shade I do not like in this palette is this purple matte right here, just because it is just so sheer and you really have to build it up to get any color with it. If you like pastel purples that are a little bit more on the wearable side, you might like it, but for me personally, it just looked a little bit choppy and it's just not my favorite formula. But the other mattes in here, let me just say, they were so pigmented and easy to work with and very beginner friendly. Like they literally were so easy to blend together, even this hot pink right here. But the star of the show out of this palette though is the shimmers, especially these two in the top row. Like they are just so sparkly and extra. They have a lot of glitter and shine. And also the formula is a little bit more on the creamy side, so you don't get any fallout with them. Like I'm just saying, if you're like me and you love a good shimmer that has a lot of shine to it, you are gonna fall in love with the ones in this palette. And again, it is the second time that I have used the liquid liner as well as the mascara, and I just really enjoy both. Like if you're looking for a good liquid liner or mascara, these ones are bomb. But this liquid liner is so easy to use. Normally I don't like a felt tip pen because I have shaky hands and it can be a little bit harder for me to use. But this one right here is like super inky black, it is super matte, and it also goes over glitter with ease. Like I literally had absolutely no issues going over the shimmers on my lid, which I really like. And this mascara is very, very volumizing and also very easy to use on the lower lashes. But I will say it's kind of like a clumpy volumizing kind of mascara, so if you don't like clumpy kind of lashes, you probably won't like this one. As for the lashes, I think these are really pretty and also very easy to apply because they do have a thinner band that isn't like thick, and it's also not stiff either, so it's very easy to pop these ones on. But I will say for a lash, like to me, they're like a volumized wearable kind of lash because they're very wispy. They do have a good amount of volume to them, but they're not like super volumized either. And you know how I feel about this highlighter. Honestly, this is gonna be like my new favorite highlight just because it is so icy and at the same time it's very blinding without being glittery. I mean, just look at that wet sheen. Like, I'm obsessed. And lastly, the lip gloss. I'll be honest, this is not a glossy kind of lip gloss by no means. It's almost like a liquid creme lipstick, I would say, that just doesn't dry down. Because again, like you can see on my lips, it doesn't have like that glossy, like wet sheen kind of vibe. But it does have like a little bit of like a creme kind of look to it. So I don't know, like I was actually surprised with this one because I was expecting it to be like a high gloss, you know, really like pigmented kind of gloss. But I mean, I still think it looks really nice. It just kind of took me off guard. Honestly, after using everything today, there is absolutely nothing I don't like. Again, I don't like the purple matte in the palette, but the other shades were amazing. And if you're okay with having one shade that's a little bit more on the subpar side, I think you can get some really pretty looks with this one. But again, like the other products that we used were really nice and I can definitely see myself using them more. But yeah, so in the comments down below, let me know what you think about this look and also let me know which palette I should use next out of this collection. But before you go though, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and also give this video a like. And if you'd like to check me out over on Instagram or TikTok, it's at Breyonna as well. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!